I don't know. In theory, they should be working pretty nicely. Hi guys, so we are at the moment watching the Imperium Keepstar in F2OY-X. There was a bit of activity in the system this morning. I believe it was Imperium attempting to kill the Sinojammer, as well as bringing in some forces into this citadel. You can see they do have some ships on the undock, but PAPI and NC Dot and everyone was quite prepared and moved a lot of their super carriers in via the Stargate, so it never had the chance for the jammer to be cycled and Imperium to bring anything in that sense. Currently they have just got a large amount of fighters heading towards the structure. Keepstar does come out in 3 minutes, so have a look and see if anything happens. Hey to everyone that's just tuning in. See the messages have gone out. The Keepstar is going to be coming out any moment now, 1 minute and 50 seconds. So at that point, we'll start seeing these fighters applying damage. They are very slowly heading over from the Fortizar. There hasn't been any warps like we previously saw on the last Keepstar, where they was warping the supers to get their fighters there quicker. There is also a large amount of dreadnoughts and carriers mixed amongst this lot. I presume to prevent any form of sub-capital attacks. We'll have a look and see how this Keepstar attack unfolds. This is the armor timer, so it is the same timer that the M2 Keepstar was fought over. It'll be interesting to see if there is any escalation, if Imperium do manage to do any offensive. Yes. I'm in here streaming, guys. Yeah. Yeah, I've got all three of my cameras in this system. So Dragon and Dragon Teeth and Caleb just jumped into the channel. Yeah, so we're just, as you guys can see on your Discord stream, we're just literally watching a pool of fighters develop now. And the timer is immediately paused. Modify my brackets. So Okay, in theory now you guys should be heard on stream, which would be nice.
I don't get any sound on the stream right now.
No, I've turned it off. So,
Oh, you fixed it.
yeah, so that'll be a bit better for the guys. I've just realised my sound was playing up, so I quickly muted it. Yeah, so in Discord, I said earlier, we have Dragon Teeth and Caleb with us. Dragon's being also a backup cam. So we're all going to sit here for the next 15-20 minutes and watch this blue ball of fighters. Interestingly, none of the fighters have gone to attack the Satillo yet, which obviously comes out in another 9 minutes. So we're interested to see if they have to pull some off.
And also, I mentioned to Caleb earlier, we got all these fighter objects going on and 2,000 people in local, and there's not any tie-dye right now.
Yeah. The interesting thing with one thing I've noticed with tie-dye is it seemingly comes in waves. So if the server only has to calculate damage to one object, not too difficult. This Keepstar is PDSing, but a lot of these fighters will actually be out of range of it. Or at least on the very edge of it. So there's a lot more mitigated damage, but it is very interesting that there is no tie-dye at all. Interesting new little feature that was added in the last patch that not many people have noticed is the selected item now shows the reinforced until time.
Oh yeah, when you have a structure selected, then you're waiting for the timer. It gives you the time down to the second and when it'll come out.
That's
so
also,
you don't have to do math anymore. You can just write down what
it also works for anchoring as well. So it's not having to worry about math of when you need to sharp to put a core in the structure. Literally just goes, oh, okay.
I would be disappointed if the bees pass on this one.
They did make an attempt at the jammers earlier, but the PAPI forces came into system around 2.5 hours ahead of time.
And the system is jammed. We just got a little bit of tie-dye, but it went away. And local it dropped by like 200 players.
Yeah, tie-dye did spike up, but has since mitigated down. So I imagine there's a large amount of people leaving the system. Yep. So for those who are just tuning in, there's a couple of people ask. The Keepstar is. Ooh, it's currently Doom saying something. Ooh, and that was the Stab of Fleet issue. Dead. So there we saw the Keepstar go off. The Keepstar Doomsday being single target and can target absolutely every ship it wants. So yeah, this is the F2OY-X Keepstar Armor Timer. Imperium did make a play on it on the jammers earlier today. Try and move in some assets. They did manage to get some assets actually into system. However, PAPI moved their super carriers in about 2.5 hours ago now from the Stargate. So quite literally, PAPI didn't want to cycle this jammer. I had those that ball of fires, so we can actually begin to see the structure now. We do have some Imperium supers on the undock. There are a couple of Titans around as well, but these ships will be all sat on tether. I'm not actually sure on how many Keepstars there are left in Delve. Hey, do you happen to have any idea on the number?
40-ish still. And counting down.
Mm.
So I think it might be like 38 or something. I think a few actually got popped. So just below 40, I think, is the tally right now.
Yeah, the only thing I can say for certain, it was less than it was at Christmas.
Yeah, it was 55 at peak. So there's like some been unanchored and then the kills, and yeah, we're just in the 40, just below 40 range, I think now.
I forgot I didn't have fighter models on. That's probably why I'm getting such decent FPS with a large number of pilots on the field.
The on-grid tutorial comes out in 3 minutes too, so
Yeah, this bonus.
I don't know if they're gonna pass on that timer just to ensure the Keepstar, because they're not gonna finish the Keepstar before the tutorial repairs, I don't think.
No, but they have plenty of damage, right? So
But the damage is not. If they're not gonna use fighters, they're gonna have to put something over there pretty soon.
yeah, but I'm sure that since it doesn't look like that there's anything happening, I think they can safely split the damage.
Well, the interesting thing will be they do have dreadnoughts in systems. They may even be like ultra long range dreadnoughts, which could mitigate a lot of the Satya's damage. So in the chat at the moment, I've just put in the current D-scan for the system. There are 290 carriers and 160 super carriers on the field. In total, I believe this shows drones, does it not?
No, I'm usually never too low. That's weird.
You can just get more excited and fix that.
Yeah, I'll just scream louder. Someone needs to trigger me. Say something dumb.
Caleb, no.
Really, it's answered 6-ish, 6 in Quirius and 30-ish in Delve for the Keepstars.
It's actually not just you, Caleb. Actually, it's kind of low in general, the stream.
Oh, okay.
If the stream's kind of low, I'll turn it up a bit.
Yeah, you could definitely push it a little.
We're seeing local despike again.
Yeah. I think there's subcaps moving next door, perhaps. Or even through to the Antablex, because this system is directly connected to T5Z via Antablex. So probably approaching around about 25% now of the damage done to the armor. Definitely will have the Satio coming out before then. So is there any movement on these fighters?
No movement on the fighters. If they're gonna do it at this point, it's got to be some sort of subcap or dreadnought or something.
They may just leave it as they have previously done that before, reinforce at the same time, but focus on the primary objective. But it does have a 15-minute timer for the repair. They may be able to do enough damage to this where they are able to withdraw some of the fighters over. But we shall see what their plan is. I'm not actively on field at the moment.
Continuing to despike again.
Yeah, down to 1600. Yeah, of the 1100 ships I had on the D-scan, there was 150 assault frigates and 128 heavy assault cruisers, so there's probably a couple, well, probably 3 or 4 sub-capital fleets on the field as well, or in the system. So I do believe, I asked the question earlier, but I wasn't able to get any clarification. I do believe this is the first cord Keepstar that's being attacked.
That's a good question. Yeah, it might actually be the first core Keepstar.
Yeah.
Because they didn't core him too.
No, I don't I don't remember M2. It feels like such a long time ago. If it needed a core during the second attack.
It did not.
Yeah, it was January 12th when that went in, right?
Yeah, but I can't remember when M2 was.
Willie is correcting us. They were both called.
Oh.
I think. Yeah, I think M2 was called when it became like significant to do so. And yeah, 5C as well had a call. I had to look on Zkill for quantum cores to see if it was dropped by anything, but it didn't show up at the time.
So yeah, they went through the trouble of coring it. Maybe goons planned to contest it, but they couldn't wrestle control of the Sino jammers before the timer, and then they gave up on it.
That seems to be the case, yes.
Because there
Yeah.
was some subcap engagement before the timer, right, over the jammers.
Yeah. Yeah, so have
That
a
means
look.
that we can potentially talk about homemade ice cream for the next 15 minutes instead.
Or Matterall's tamales.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I really hope he's going to do that on stream.
Yeah. So just had a look. I believe the M2 core was installed because of the Hell Camp, and the 5C1 was the standard core. So that'd be
Oops.
Well, my camera ate it.
Something ate your camera.
what happened? Get caught?
I had a disconnect. I'll log back in. I should be fine.
Quick, look for him on the grid.
Like really far on that grid.
5k off of it.
You're saying you were going to entertain stream with 1v1 cameraman versus cameraman?
No guns at the sun. Let's see who was probed down and killed first.
Well, that's not fair because they like hunting me.
Matter was saying that we are low.
Yeah,
on
I'm
the audio setting a little bit.
trying to balance it as best as I can at the moment.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had to fiddle with these controls. We need more Titan fights. I need another Titan fight in me.
Yep.
Gives you time to perfect your craft. Alright, yeah, I got my camera back in place in case anything happens, but this looks like a standard armor bash, and some of the fighters are slowly inching towards the Satoyo.
Yep, I just saw a couple of the heavy fighters that they're using just jumping towards them, so that get in a better position to view it. The Keepstar is amongst the main ball at the moment, but they're slowly edging towards the Satoyo.
Well, Sully, maybe you should do the explanation for stream what might actually have happened and why goons are not showing up, because people think they're chickening out, and that's not really what happened, right?
No, the Imperium made some interest shown earlier today in this system. They have also moved in some capitals and super capitals into the system as well. It was an interesting move for them to show their hand, whilst obviously not being ready if that was their intention. I mean, we can see there are 311 people docked in that Keepstar. So it's not like it's an insignificant amount of players. But
they were seeming to be rallying the troops to actually take this fight.
Yeah. PAPI moved all of their super carriers in through the Stargate. The jammer never cycled. So there was no ability for Imperium to ever bring anything in, as well as in amongst the other Keepstar fights or Keepstar battles we've seen where Titans were used. For this one, super carriers are being used. So their fighters are all the way over at the Keepstar, whilst them themselves are sat very much protected on the Fortizar. Have a look here, actually.
The door is closed. So No funds. No funds either.
So we can see just this ball of super carriers with Hictor bubbles around them to prevent any issues that could come in. If a super carrier disconnects, or as well as preventing, any random warps, anything like that. And
Yeah,
we can just see
disconnects aren't
there's
really an issue anymore, right? Because now you can turn off emergency work. A lot of people don't remember that.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one. It's one of those where a lot of pilots may also forget that it's on. We still have pilots that forget to flag exempt for fleet warping situations. So yeah, so we can just see a large number of super carriers here, with force auxiliaries, as well as I believe there is carriers and possibly even dreadnought. There was dreadnoughts earlier dotted around, so it would take a significant force to attack these, whilst they're also under the effect of the Sinojammer.
And I guess this is PAPI executing their strategy, right?
Yeah, and you can actually point out that it is the correct choice. Why take a fight when you don't have to, right? If you can kind of deny the fight, that's really the best thing to do strategically.
Correct.
But
Because
they will.
they took the M2 fight, right? They played a little loose and reckless, and they got the short end of the stick of the short end of the server coin flip.
Yeah, well, and again, you're gonna be hearing a week most likely of screams of coward, but it's the same thing to do. They have a lot of these to finish, right? So
Yeah,
why take a fight when you don't have to?
there's
A
a
bit boring for the rest of us, but it's
yeah.
the right call.
There's 36 more Keepstars, 5 of them in 1DQ.
Mhm.
It's not like there's going to be any shortage of fights, and strategically, you want to make it so you don't have to lose any assets to do what your job is. So these two structures, they're in Quirius. They've both got cores, so it's the safest bet to attack them under the jammer. The M2 fight would have been a different one as well, because they also attempted to fight that under the jammer. However, Imperium rapidly responded, getting in
Well,
into the system.
and again, I think playing it safe and making sure that there's minimum mistakes or risk taken. That's the only way that you can go through 40 of these safely, right? So I think it's both understandable and commendable. It's what you should do.
Yeah. So the Keepstar has just fallen below 50% now. The Satio is still currently unpaused, however, more and more fighters are heading over that way. See here, we have a nice triangle of fighters now emerging out.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Satoyo is not going to get paused here shortly.
Yeah.
Oh, it just flickered right now. So
yeah. So there it goes. The timer is damage over 10 seconds, so we need to recalculate it as much as possible. But yeah, both timers are now paused. You'll just see damage coming in from these squadrons of fighters. Local's correct, way down now. 600 people have left system since we started. So local is now at 1200.
I do like the comment that Willie made that if he's going to make a mistake, it's going to be a major one and it's going to be a massive failure, not small mistakes. Let's not do those anymore.
but historically in Eve, small mistakes lead to massive failures, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Not paying bills, jumping
yeah,
instead of bridging. These small mistakes lead to the most crazy fights in Eve Online.
Yep.
yeah. Battle of Asakai was DBRB pressing the wrong button.
Yeah, but from
BTAC R was letting a bill go without being paid, so
Yeah.
it turned the station neutral.
yeah, we've had so many fun things like that. But in this case, it's geographically, it's one where you want to make sure that you don't make those mistakes and don't like come in and make decisions half awake and sleep deprived or things like that. So I think it's okay. We had hoped for a little bit of a bloodbath, but no, not today.
Not this time.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Really, just said the true story of that guy was pressing the wrong button, getting himself out, and then going back in once everyone else had gone in. It was Askai was a very fun time. I remember I was in the fleet that was supposed to be getting bridged.
I'm almost gonna be inclined to say we could have used that formation stuff a few months ago, CCP, before the whole occupation of Delve and the
Oh
well,
no, I think the formation things are good fun.
oh yeah, I think they're amazing fun. I just would have liked them a bit earlier when there was
Caleb,
actual fighting.
yeah, Caleb thinks it would have added more instability to a lot of the early engagements in the war.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't think it would have. It would have made battles different, but I don't think it would have changed engagements that much. Because
There would have been
ultimately,
all those mistakes possible, right?
that's true. I mean, I'm interested to see what kind of strategies Willie comes up with, or if my hope is when he does the next Titan Warp into a Keepstar, he has it as a giant smiley face. Pans it out with a couple of the different fleets and just has a giant smile.
I mean, I don't know what you can do on like large scales of the thousands like this, but I've seen some interesting mid-scale stuff happen. Like I saw a fleet warp in the horizontal plane formation, and then they all dropped sentry drones and started shooting the enemy fleet that way.
Can I just say, because now someone in chat is actually begging me for calling out some sort of love declaration for goons. I wrote a nice article on INN and still up about how I actually converted. But if you had been around back when Goons was the underdog and they fought Bob, you would understand why you would become a little bit of a fan of Goons, because the way they did that was so entertaining. And of course, then they bloated into this overpowering thing, and I can understand why people didn't like them in that era. And then you had the DJ stuff. But Goons are like most other organizations in Eve. They are just quite old and been able to keep the core together for a long time. So that means that you grow. It's like anything else in Eve. If you keep your shit together, you're gonna get more and more powerful, and yeah, people will take pot shots at you.
And ultimately, there's no real. Like, I don't feel any bad blood between any groups in Eve. I've been in Goons. I've been in Initiative. I've been in NC. I don't think I've been in PL yet. Um, I've been all around over the years I've played, and although everyone acts like every other group is the enemy, said this earlier, everyone's not the enemy in this. It's just a different group of people that you're playing with. Now, I've bounced around so many times, and every group's different, but every group's fun.
And I'm sure if you really wanted to try your legs in PL, I'm sure if you rub Elise the right way and show him your wallet, you're gonna be home free and in.
Oh please!
I don't have the faction Titan anymore. I sold it.
You gotta fill out. They have a survey you have to take. It's several questions, and then there's an essay you have to do. I'm not even joking, by the way.
No, but I'm saying that he can skip all that if he just sweet talks Elise and show him his wallet. You show him all your Titan building and stuff, Sully. Just gonna go. Yes, we love you. Come on in.
I've
Listen,
not
writing
actually
like
been
a
building
3 paragraph
Titans.
essay about why Taylor Swift is your favorite singer and what your favorite song is, it's some bonding experience.
Yeah, but that means I have to go for Taylor Swift.
Hey, if you go for Taylor Swift, you're in instantly. You know that.
Yeah. So we're
But
seeing
yeah,
now.
at the end of the day, we're all space nerds, right?
The problem is, if you do Taylor Swift, I think they will suspect that you're a spy.
No, you don't understand. They just tell you that your favorite singer is Taylor Swift and that you have to explain why. It's
Ah,
not a
okay.
choice.
Okay, it's not a choice.
So the Keepstar's probably at around about 10 to 15% now, slowly ticking down. There's TO, as I said, a nice big ball of fighters coming in, so pretty much both these timers now set in. We'll just hang around and see if there's anything going to happen for these last few moments, but at this point it is incredibly difficult to mount a counter attack on this just because of this swarm of fighters. Yeah, but as someone said earlier
We're
in the
still
chat,
seeing local D spike, right? We're down to like 12.5.
yeah, 1,270 people. Yeah, as it was said in chat earlier, the Keepstar route has been disassembled from Delve to Losec. So pretty much now, this system I believe is the last one where a jammer was needed. And with that, so there is now no safe jump via the optimal route.
I mean,
someone's asking how long it's going to take to do all this demolition fun stuff. And I think both Elise and Willy has said it's going to be at least a month and a half to 2 months, right?
Yeah, assuming there's no major hiccups or another M2 situation. I think they were kind of saying 2 months, roughly.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's under any illusions of how much of a grind it's going to be before they even attempt one DQ, right?
And it can be postponed by a lot of things, right? Potentially.
Yeah, flip an iHub and you set back the clock 35 days.
Yeah, and jump on a grenade if one of these things have funsies in them, right?
Yeah, or you know, what if Goons is able to destroy the Sino Jammer one system and anchor their Sino Jammers, and they can't turn them on, but no one else can turn them on, so it adds risk to the equation.
And this is why I get the feeling that Willy is doing German soccer right now, playing it completely safe and closing down any mistakes and minimizing that. It's the right way to do it. It's how Germany won so many World Cups, and yeah, we're just gonna have to wait for the entertainment to come at the grand finale.
Yeah, it is slowly progressing at a pace. There is obviously this Keepstar at the moment, and there is another Keepstar tomorrow that is going through its armor reinforce. So they are trying to average, I believe it's 1 or 2 every week now. But yeah, they are just slowly ticking down, getting through the grind that is these structures.
Hopefully, some small entertaining things will develop over the period, so we are not entirely starved of entertainment.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's hard to stream all the contention that happens over these iHubs, right?
Yeah.
We keep being told about these really cool iHub battles with like 1,000 guys total spread across 5 or 6 solar systems, but unless you have like cameras in all those systems and the action is constantly moving, it's hard to stream that for people to see.
I was able to previously actually stream an iHub battle, but it was so fortunate that it was so large that the main systems, there was only a few systems that spread over, but under such heavy tie-dye it meant that the actual iHub timer was decided in the outlying systems. We was able to see a lot of the combat going on, but it's iHub timers are incredibly difficult to stream.
Yeah.
So
we're
just seeing here, the Titan fleets from the Imperium are jumping out of the system. So those 311 that were in the system were their Titans. I assumed it may have been a subcapital fleet, but no, the Imperium Titans were in this Keepstar.
Look at that, that's a lot. So if those jammers weren't there, there very likely would have been a fight here. Look at that.
Yeah.
Could have also been
ramping up, right?
if PAPI had used Titans rather than supercarriers, this could have been also a different kind of engagement.
Well, I think the Imperium was very much preparing for an actual slugfest.
Yeah, look at all that. You wouldn't have brought that if you weren't preparing for something.
Exactly. So this is
And
not them. Well, they're standing down for obvious reasons. They were denied the fight, and that's fine. That's
Well,
what
this
we
is
said.
also a decent show of force, right? This is showing, hey,
Yeah.
if you screw up, we will punch you in the face.
Yep.
I think maybe they were just waiting for another M2 situation they could capitalize on, and set the war effort back.
Yeah, but we've
Well,
roughly seen
that's the
there.
plan, right?
There was roughly
Yeah.
around about 100 of the Imperium capitals in this Keepstar. There's still 220 more in here, so we'll still continue to see them undocking and jumping out.
This
And
undock's actually insane.
I actually think in this case, Willy was very well informed of exactly what was going on. So I
Yeah.
think that's why it played out the way it did. But this is basically, as I can tell, this is their strategy, right? This is what they're going to try to do on the next 35 plus structures to see when can we get another bloodbath and what will that then lead to, right?
So they're doing their staged undock. So we're currently seeing the supercarriers undocking and jumping. So Titans have gone, supercarriers as well as now faxes.
Yeah, a bunch of faxes now.
Yeah, so they was very much prepared for a battle. So it'll be interesting to see now if the PAPI attacking will only use this fighter strategy, which does have drawbacks. It isn't efficient on time. It does the same job in the same amount of time, but you have to prepare so much more. You have to have fighters traveling over a long distance. So you have to be in system earlier. You're in system longer.
Okay, I'm already seeing the opposite flip side of this narrative. Now I'm already getting a little sad because I know that the Imperium is going to call out coward and stuff on Pappy, and Pappy is now saying that this is Goon Swarm fleeing. That's not what happened. This is Pappy playing it safe, and it's Goon Swarm not getting the fight they wanted. Let's be fair.
Yeah. This force was memorable. 250 to 300 super carriers, carriers and faxes. That's a commendable little force. It's not anywhere near what the Imperium is actually able to field, but it's enough that they could cause disruption.
I think, to be honest, I think Pappy considered doing this fight. I think they might actually have decided not to take it almost at the last minute. Because I think they know that they. Mm, it's been
All right,
boring,
the
right?
Keepstar has been reinforced.
Yeah, it's been it's been a bit boring the past few months. I think Pappy also wants a fight soon. They just want it on their conditions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like both sides had much more lying in the background as well. I believe there was 2 or 3 sub-capital fleets for both sides sat waiting. So yeah, quite literally, both sides were wanting this kind of fight. But in 2 days, 21 hours, we will hopefully be able to see some culmination from this.
I am somewhat doubtful that the Imperium fights on a whole timer.
Well, they've done it previously with M2. The interesting thing will
True,
be it
but
will
M2
be
already
a
had
Thursday.
a logged off Titan fleet underneath it, right?
Yeah, so Thursday will be the deciding factor for this this Keepstar's fate. As we have the Satio now at half health, just being chipped away by those fighters. So as the more head over, I'll just kind of keep that paused.
You do have to remember that from everything that we've heard, the willingness to actually sacrifice stuff from the Imperium is pretty high. they do want the sacrifice. They just want to make sure that it's not a horrible skewed fight, right? I would say that they would be willing to do a very unequal exchange just to get blood in the water again.
Yeah, but with this fighter strategy, I mean, there are strategies to counter fighters, but they're not very bloody strategies, right? You're just gonna have some fighter versus fighter contention going on.
Yeah, Imperium wants to kill Titans,
Yeah,
and they will also almost exchange them unevenly. I think they're not necessarily going to require it to be a punching upward thing with in their favor. They are willing to take the hit, and that's really just a matter of time because it's in their interest to get the. This is about the proportional losses that I talked about in Sunday's show. This is a strategy that makes sense. You want to see if you can cause a disproportional loss on the PAPI side because that can potentially change morale internally.
maybe. I do like to say though, good on CCP for this node. We had almost no tie-dye with 2,000 people in local, probably 1,000+ fighter objects. So I do like that they're always improving their infrastructure, and these fights are getting a little bit smoother every time.
Yeah. So now we're just going to continue to see the fighters moving over, super carriers, things like that. Everything that's kind of on the Forza, if it's not needed to be here, they'll begin to leave. With it just being a CTO, the jammer's going to remain active. So I believe now the real thing for this is waiting to see what the next battle is. There is another Keepstar fight tomorrow, DTAC-W. I'll make sure to get some cameras over there and keep an avid eye on it and see if anything culminates from that during the day. But for now, I believe that's all the real action we're going to see here. We're coming up to the 45-minute mark, which is a nice, quick Keepstar reinforce. So I think we'll hand it off here, and I'll hopefully see you guys with a nice battle tomorrow.
Yep. Thanks for this.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Thanks for the camera, Sully.